This is the Team Objection podcast for February 7th, 2019, episode 378. You can see the three on the screen. They have sun shirts on. I forgot because everything about this broadcast studio broke 5 minutes before the show was supposed to go live, so I'm not a Suns fan. Sorry, everybody.
Chris had a glove save, I think.
When it broke, you were already here.
I know, but...
So you're just a bad Suns fan.
Right.
There is no excuse.
Yeah.
I caught you in the excuse.
Have they given us that much to really be good fans with this
Suns
season?
cast!
Suns cast.
It's a Suns cast,
And to answer your question,
everybody.
Dave, no. No,
Okay,
we have not done
good,
jack
good.
shit to make us be worthy fans, but we still keep trying anyways.
I mean, we've made such great trades, like...
And also...
It's a Suns cast, but I want to talk about the NBA at large, too.
Okay.
Trade
we can go
deadline's
there.
coming up. I have a few different things.
So I guess the question is Suns specific first or NBA specific
NBA
first?
specific. We
Yeah,
get the
we'll
lead in.
start high level
Yeah.
and move in.
So as at the time of recording, we're doing this almost like when it goes live.
Almost
This is
live, almost.
Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Arizona time, which means the trade deadline is like 16 hours away. That means that in theory, there's some things that could change by tomorrow morning, but for the most part, I think anything major that's going to happen has happened. I don't think Anthony Davis is getting traded. So that's just where we're at. If something breaks between now and the podcast goes live, just know that we tried.
Recording at 8 p.m. on the night of the trade deadline, we're basically Wojnarowski.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And
Woj bomb being dropped.
Yeah.
here's the bomb. Man, screw Anthony Davis, though.
This just digs into your primal, like, hate. I know you're big in, like, the loyalty and staying where you are, and Anthony Davis just, like, checks every box that
Look,
you hate, right?
And I'm even open to, like, I get it. You're a player. You're not winning in a certain area. I would like him to stay, but I understand it. You're going to demand a trade mid-season, like a week before the deadline? Are you kidding me? That's trash.
They've been talking about it for a while.
In
I mean, he
theory,
has.
it does open up the possibility for New Orleans to get more out of the trade. I don't think he's doing it because of that or for a benevolent reason, but it has already kind of created this bidding war where the Lakers put an absolutely ludicrous offer on the table. The Pelicans turned it down.
Yeah, but they're bidding against themselves because no one else is bidding right now. So it's like...
That's what was crazy about that offer, really. They give five young players, and 2 unprotected draft picks, which is a lot. I know it's Anthony Davis, but still, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good any of the Lakers' young core is, to be honest. I think Kuzma's probably the best of the 5, and that's not saying much.
So LeBron and Anthony Davis together, is that enough with no supporting cast?
I mean, at that point,
at all. Is that enough to win a championship?
Your supporting cast is Michael Beasley and Rajon Rondo and maybe Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
It might be enough still.
Going into
I don't know.
into next year with the opportunity to sign some more people at like veterans minimum, yes.
Yeah.
This season,
this season, no. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my bet to you, Shaun, right now.
I think the whole bet is null and void. LeBron missed 20 games, and now if they do happen to trade for Davis, that's fundamentally different Lakers team. We might as well just watch the whole thing.
No. I'm sorry. I was willing to keep it on the table regardless of whatever, because I told Dave, I understand stuff happens when you make the bet. I was willing to go even if they got Anthony Davis or whatever the hell. Dave has to eat it, even if LeBron is hurt for the rest of the season.
We said on the podcast, which is recorded, that if there was a significant LeBron injury, the whole thing was a wash because the Lakers without him were going to be not even worth talking about. They won 20 games last year. If there's video proof.
We can run the tape back. I don't think that happened.
The trade obviously is a different story because that's harder to predict and whatever. Because it's gutting their team, but bringing in Anthony Davis, so that's kind of a wash. But yeah, no LeBron on that team. We know the rest of that supporting cast is trash.
I'm going to run with, if we won't null the bet, Shaun, but I'm just going to buy a Chick-fil-A instead.
I don't want Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that's right. Chick-fil-A's on your terrible list. Okay, I'm going to buy you, what do you like? Flame broiler.
Fine.
Good.
That was not a bad pick.
I was just going to say a beer would be fine.
And the sad thing is they might not even be done yet. They can still sneak into the playoffs and get to the point where it's a wash still.
Yeah.
Because the Clippers just punted. They're in one of the 8 playoff spots, and they've clearly given up.
Yeah, why is that? They were like playing well.
I think they think they can get Davis, in all honesty, and a max player.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're playing the long game.
They are, because I think they recognize that even though they've had a little bit more success than they thought this year, what are they going to do in the playoffs?
Yeah,
Win.
they're not. They're not beating Golden State, that's for sure.
Win the playoffs.
Well, they have to get into like the top 5 to avoid a team that's going to stomp the shit out of them in the first round. I don't think even if they had kept Harris, they were good enough for that. Now, you can argue they should have been buyers at the trade deadline and looked to improve that core, but then they would have handicapped their space for the upcoming offseason.
What was their record before the trade?
They were like
Seed. What was their seed?
Before the
They were
trade,
hovering right around 8.
7th or 8th, yeah. 7th
Oh,
tops.
okay. So they dipped a lot from where
Yeah.
they were, like leading the
They
West.
were kind of just hanging on. But they were
okay.
still in if the playoffs had started that day.
Yeah, as of recording today, the Clippers are 8th.
They had slumped because Danilo Gallinari had his inevitable injury span.
Yeah.
And without him, that lineup all of a sudden does not have the scoring to complement its defense.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Anthony Davis sucks. Here's another thing I want to talk about. And I will not be the first person to say this. I won't be the last person to say this. Fuck Draymond Green. That guy sucks. Because
Wow.
you have a player who is... What do we ask for in players? We don't want them to treat it like a business. We want them to care. We want them to show passion, whether it's for their team, for their season. While in the All-Star game, we want them to play like they care. That was what the big deal was last year. We have a player who doesn't make it. He's overcome by emotion. He cries a little bit. And bitch-ass Draymond is mocking him. I just like... I hate him. I hate him so much.
It's funny because there was this whole thing where they were starting to say they cared about, mental problems and depression and stuff like that. Because Kevin Love came out with that whole thing that he had depression. There's, I want to say it was DeMar DeRozan or maybe Jimmy Butler. Somebody like that had another problem. And who was that?
DeRozan.
It was DeRozan, yeah. And they were like really respectful of that. And now all of a sudden, Rudy Gobert, who's a foreign player who doesn't have the American upbringing like that, shows some emotion and Draymond jumps on him. I mean,
yeah, what a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't. He's not saying I'm crying and like this is such bullshit and I should have been there. And he wasn't throwing shade. He was just like, I'm really sad. And he got overcome by emotion. And man, I hate him. And he's the type of player I hate so much. And it's like, well, you hate him until he's on your team. No, I promise you, I'd hate him if he was on the Suns too. I have hated plenty of players on the Suns. He would be no different.
Especially in the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's been easy to.
Let me give you a list. I won't actually, but
We
it's
could
a
list at
lot.
least 10. At least 10. That's a lot of players to absolutely hate.
I can say more. That's 2 right there.
Yeah, that's
Shannon
up there.
Brown, Gerald Green, Archie Goodwin. I'm just going really quickly off the top of my head. We've already gotten halfway there. We're not even trying yet.
I didn't hate Gerald
And I'm
Green.
not even a big fan of like Eric Bledsoe, who like is one of those like fringe. He was fine.
But I don't hate him.
I kind of do.
I don't want to be here.
I hated Goran. I'm okay with him now.
Yeah,
I miss him tremendously.
I'm trying to see the legacy more than something he has said he's regretted since. So it's like, all right.
He had attrition for it, and also we've seen that it turns out the Suns were horribly mismanaged, and he was right.
Yeah.
So
Robert Sarver, biggest player I hate.
exactly.
He encompasses all of them.
He wishes he could be a player.
Anyways, I read that from Draymond, and I was like, and if I was Rudy Gobert, I would not even care because I'm like, wow, what a punk bitch. It wouldn't even like bother me if I was him because it's like, oh no, Draymond's giving me shade. What do I care?
Yeah.
Whatever shall I do?
He's pathetic.
He also didn't make the All-Star game, by the way.
Yeah, I know, he sure didn't.
He didn't deserve to, so good.
Well, that was his comment. It's like, oh, I didn't make it. Should I cry too?
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, oh,
And Gobert should have made it. That is among the biggest flubs as far as like snubs that I can remember for some time.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well.
He's putting up 17 and 11, and he's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He should be in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's Russell Westbrook that shouldn't, or maybe even Karl Anthony Towns, but
I would say Towns. And Towns is great.
Towns has been really good since Butler got traded, but you still can't discount the first month of the season where he was basically mailing it in.
And like his defense is not great, right? It's fine at best.
Good when he tries, average overall.
Yeah, to me that's again in a league.
Now,
I don't know.
No, that's fine. I was going to ask you, because we talked about Davis. I want to ask you, what's the biggest affront to you? Because obviously loyalty matters to you a lot. Davis or Kristaps Porzingis?
Davis, I would say, but Porzingis baffles me.
That one scares me because he's not even off his rookie contract yet.
I
Yeah.
know.
Like Davis, the Pelicans have had 8 years to try and get talent around him, and they've made 2 playoffs and won 1 series. So I can kind of understand some more frustration building up for Davis. Kristaps has been there 3 years, and he's been hurt for 85 of those games.
Now, I have to clarify. I have to ask you to clarify. Did Porzingis didn't demand a trade, though? He was just traded, right?
They had a
he
meeting.
voiced that he really didn't want to be there, basically.
Yeah.
Now, and why? What was the... Davis is just like, I just want out. I want to win. I'm tired of this. What was Porzingis?
Pretty much that.
Oh.
The fact that the Knicks are even worse than the Suns as far as both their front office and their ownership somehow.
They're a train wreck of all train wrecks.
Because I imagine that meeting being like, I want to win. I've been losing for 3 years. It's like, yeah, you've been hurt, asshole. What do you want us to do?
I was stunned at how quickly that came together. I mean, Porzingis is like, hey, I'm not really happy here. Trade it! It's like,
Yeah.
whoa, hello.
Yeah.
And
All right.
apparently the league didn't even really know he was being shopped. It just happened.
No, it just happened quickly.
And I think there was more time than we thought there was, at least between exactly the Mavericks and Knicks, especially because the Mavericks played the Knicks the night before, and Doncic was all buddy-buddy with Porzingis on the sideline. So I think somebody may have had an inkling, but the league was still caught off guard by it for sure.
I remember seeing that, and my jaw just dropped. It was like, they traded Porzingis now? What the? And then I saw what they got for him. And I get what the Knicks are doing, trying to open up 2 max contract spaces for free agency this year. And I don't think they're getting KD and Kyrie coming. So they basically just traded their best young player for Wesley Matthews and some draft picks.
Unless they really thought he wasn't going to recover from the injury. But I feel, what was his injury? It was
ACL.
20 CL.
And it's like these days, ACL, you can still come back and not lose a whole lot.
And
It's not like it used to be.
And it's not like his game is really all that predicated on athleticism, so it's even less risky for him than it would be like an Amari type injury where you went, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so,
Yeah.
so since Dave mentioned the name, let's run this back again.
'Kay.
Who's less loyal to you, Anthony Davis, Kristaps Porzingis, or Kyrie Irving?
What was that? Man, I feel like I'm up to date on stuff, but you say Kyrie Irving. I don't know what's going on there.
So
He basically recently last year during their preseason stuff, he came out and told all the season ticket holders, "I'm going to re-sign here. I'm here for the long term." And then
everybody cheers.
yeah, and then throughout the season, there's been just talk about a lot of different trades, and they haven't been playing as well as they like to, and it hasn't been as cohesive of a team. And so basically, he said, "quote I don't know anybody's shit." And when asked if he was going to resign, he said, "Ask me July 1st." So he might leave.
I mean, and if he does, I'll judge it then. But he stayed the whole season.
Mm-hmm. He finished his contract. He'll finish his contract in that
He
case.
was, how do I say? I was gonna say honest. Now I get. He was like, "Don't worry, I'm staying." But when he's saying, "Ask me July 1st," he's not saying, "No, I promise I'm going to stay." Again, he's like, "Oh, I'll see. I'll evaluate." Davis has already said, "I'm out."
Yeah.
And so to me, that's more egregious. Kyrie Irving, I'm disappointed to see that, but they are seemingly dysfunctional over there.
Yeah, which is
It's
really
strange.
unexpected. Really unexpected in
Yeah, I
Boston.
mean, like the Suns, in a way, are more functional. They just have so much less talent that you don't see
Well,
it.
but there's actually kind of a sort of direct correlation between the Suns and the Celtics in this spot, and it's this. They had more success than they expected too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That run that they had to take LeBron's team 7 and almost win Game 7 was almost the worst thing that could have happened because it got Jaylen Brown's head big, it got Marcus Morris's head big, it got who's the
Tatum's
third guy?
head big.
Tatum, Marcus Smart,
yeah.
all of them.
Terry
were-
Rozier.
Yeah, all 5 of
Yeah.
those guys specifically were like 30-minute guys because Kyrie was hurt, Gordon Hayward was hurt. So all of a sudden now with Hayward back and not looking like himself, Irving back, playing well, very well. He's like an easy all-star pick.
Oh, yeah.
But being very ball dominant and also kind of disparaging the youngsters. Just like the Suns when they had that 48-win season, all of a sudden I think the success when it was unexpected hurt them in some ways.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's really hard. If I'm a young player and I'm playing well and a guy who has been hurt comes back and is playing, I mean, I'm assuming Hayward is starting, or is that not the case
Not
now?
anymore. He was for the first couple of weeks. It was a bad choice. He's off the bench now.
Okay. That would frustrate me, though.
The Celtics have been demonstrably better since they put Morris and Smart in the starting lineup.
It's really funny how basketball works that way, and it's even higher in the NBA. But like, you imagine that you've got this team that's playing so well, and then you imagine, okay, we're going to throw 2 better players onto this team or bring them back in. We should be awesome, and then you're worse than last year somehow because basketball is such a cohesive sport.
That's why, even though I don't really like them much anymore, Golden State has been so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Is because they have both great players who just gel really well on the court, and it's so often you have one or the other, and you can have great players who don't gel, or you can have a core that gels super well, maybe like Denver, but I mean they can't win a championship, I don't think, with that lineup.
I mean, they're still in first. They're still right up near the top of the West.
Healthy, maybe.
Yeah.
If only because their deepest guys in their bench, like Monte Morris and Malik Beasley, have shown that they're really good too. So they can legitimately go like 11 deep, which is not a thing you do in the playoffs, but it means they can go to whoever's hot.
Yeah.
And ride the effort.
It reminds me a little bit of that Suns 2010 team where we kind of went 10 deep.
Yeah. Right.
Remember that?
And they're a lot more talented. That bench was scrappy and fun to watch. This is a legitimately good. Like their backup 5 is better than the Suns.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I have no doubt. I bet you could do that with quite a few teams in the NBA.
Probably.
Yeah. That is so depressing. I think I'm gonna cry.
But your point stands though in that I think people have just taken it for granted. Like, oh, the Warriors have 4 All-Stars, 5 now, whatever. And like that's all you have to do. It's like no. The Warriors have made it work because they have specific people who fit specific roles, and Kevin Durant was the best person to fit into that. And yes, that includes LeBron James.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I mean, LeBron James, great all-time talent. Is he toxic? Maybe. I think we're really going to find out with this Lakers team.
Yeah. I mean, if they get Anthony Davis and then are able to sign all those veteran minimums, come around them, and get back up to the top of the West next year, then that'll all go by the wayside. And
he still might be toxic, but his talent might outweigh that.
Yeah. It's been a weird week hearing about all these trade deadline things because, like I think we mentioned earlier, but like the amount of rumors that have been around Anthony Davis, the amount of rumors that have been around Lonzo Ball coming to the Suns maybe, and what we would or wouldn't give up for him has been almost exhausting to watch.
Yeah, so I'm glad you transitioned to Lonzo Ball. I want to really say, just to wrap this up, if it was that easy, Gary Payton, I think him and Karl Malone would both have championship rings.
Yep. Just easy to jump on a team
and they don't.
And what's the case study now? Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris now joins a big 3 that was already starting to kind of figure things out, but they're going to have to start over again because it's another ball-dominant player to try and pair along with Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Yeah, that actually, I wonder if that's the straw that breaks the camel's back with them because they were already talking about dysfunction. You already have 2 players that don't really like each other. Then you add in a third who don't like each other, and we'll see with Tobias Harris. But
does Jimmy Butler like anyone?
No,
and that's his,
like
his
anyone
issue.
at all?
Yeah.
No. And that's why he got along with Thibodeau, because they're both fucking curmudgeons. So that's another big 4 now. But again, will that work? I respect the Sixers for taking a shot. I think Harris has a decent chance to fit. It's a lot better than some other acquisitions they could have made. But again, it ain't that easy, especially mid-season.
I think Harris just has to go back to being kind of the player he was a little bit in Detroit, with a little bit more rebounding, a little bit more scrappiness, a little bit more like Matrix role.
But his present-day shooting.
Yeah.
Because he's shooting like 42% from 3 this year, which is desperately what Philadelphia needs.
Yeah, exactly.
So big question. I'm going to field this to the experts, which is you two. Lonzo Ball to the Suns. What are our thoughts?
As way better than Tyler Johnson. We'll get into that, I would like him on the team. I think he would shore up the backcourt defensively because he would be able to take whichever one of the backcourt's a better offensive player. I think he's a very good passer, especially in the open court. We could try to go up tempo a little bit more. He's not a good shooter, obviously, but he moves the ball around. He wouldn't have to support our offense.
He can hit the open 3 somewhat regularly, right? His free throw shooting is all-time bad.
Oh, atrocious!
But hopefully,
I think I heard Steph Curry's 3-point percentage is better than Lonzo Ball's free throw percentage.
Pretty bad. But it could be in his head too. I feel like with free throw shooting,
it's all in your head. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just like talent; it's mental too. Unless you're Shaq and your hand is bigger than the ball, but I really think his free throw shooting would get better in the Sun. A little bit smaller, a lot smaller market than LA.
Yeah.
Less lights and attention on you. Not freaking reality show being filmed on you, like
that
it was.
no one's watching, right?
Yeah. So I would love it, like for the reason you just said, defense,
Passing.
and then passing. Yeah, facilitating for our scorers. Finally getting Ayton, I think his numbers would jump up quite a bit, having someone who can actually pass on the ball on a pick and roll or down low or ever.
In transition, too.
Yeah.
So two things. One, Lonzo Ball shot 41% from three in college. Granted, college three.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
still good.
65% from the line, which is the same exact line.
Yeah.
Now, 65% is still pretty bad for a guard.
Yeah.
But you could live with 65% because it wouldn't take him out of the game down the stretch. I don't know where this 41% has come from, other than exactly what you said, which is 100% mental.
Well,
So-
shooting form is god awful, but that he should be able to figure that one out.
But it was
He
god
needs-
awful in college.
Yeah.
I'm not like save Lonzo Ball. I don't give a shit about him, but like I think he needs a change of scenery.
Yeah.
And
So does his dad.
and it must suck to be a playmaker point guard on a team with LeBron James
Yeah, it
And
wouldn't
Rajon
feel-
Rondo,
and Rondo. Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
basically the same player in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, I resent the Suns a lot right now. And the reason is, I resent them for making me want Lonzo Ball. For having run things so ineptly for the last 2, 4, 8, whatever the fuck years, that I'm now like, you know what? I can talk myself into Lonzo Ball, and it's not even blowing smoke. It's legitimately a decent fit for this team, and I hate it.
To be fair, out of everyone in that family, I don't hate him.
No.
Yes.
Lonzo seems very well
I
adjusted.
hate all of his brothers and his dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, I feel like for the most part, he just puts his head down and plays.
Yeah.
Doesn't even show a lot of emotion on the court. Just does his thing.
Yeah.
He seems like a good kid. He seems like he has fun off the court, too, which
Yeah.
is fine. But I also was reminded of the fact that, we hadn't really heard from LeVar Ball for about a year, and I did not miss it.
He was on 2 Phoenix-based radio stations today. 2.
No.
I was so mad at them for doing
No,
that.
I'm fine with it. So
No.
because I hate him. But you have a player who is the number 2 pick from
Number
his
2
draft
pick.
class.
2.
2.
Two, who has a lot of potential, I think, still. Whether it's ever realized or not, I mean, who knows? We could say that about all of our players. Dragon Bender, Josh Jackson. But he wants to be in Phoenix. It was just like, nobody wants to be in Phoenix.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air.
Phoenix, like the stadium doesn't even want to barely be in Phoenix. And you have somebody who's like, yeah, actually, I'd really like to go there.
Yeah. And it's sad that the only way that'll possibly happen is if Anthony Davis goes to the Lakers, because I don't see any reason or method in which we would be able to trade with the Lakers straight up to get Lonzo. We don't have anything they want.
I feel like I'm disheartened, though, because the Lakers have just said, we'll give you all these players, including Ball. So I'm having trouble seeing a scenario where, like, we are facilitating when, like, they
We
can
have
just go
to give up.
directly there.
We have to give up our draft pick because New Orleans wants more draft picks, and the Lakers can't really give many more. So we have to give away our draft picks in that case.
I would give up some. Probably not the one we're going to get for this. Like
You'd have to put a protection on
I
it.
would top 7 or top 5 protect this year.
Top 5 would do it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll give it the Bucks pick in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Easily.
the thing is, so like even before his dad came out, the question was how would Lonzo fit with Jrue Holiday, who I know Suns fans have clamored for, but there's been no indication whatsoever that he's available.
no. Suns fans clamored for LeBron years ago. Yeah, we clamor for anybody.
We're just so desperate for anybody that's not our current roster. Like, yeah, come bring them all in.
Yeah, and I think it's funny. Like if you go on those websites, like the fan whatever ones, every site is like the same. And like, what can we do to get LeBron? It's like he doesn't want to go to you.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go to us either. It was always going to be like L.A. or New York.
But Shaun, don't you remember we had Eric Bledsoe and they're buddy?
Yeah, they're such good friends.
They're just like this.
Yeah.
Which is why I find the Anthony Davis Rich Paul angle also to be overrated. I mean, it matters, don't get me wrong, but it's not like it's going to change things fundamentally.
Yeah. So I would really like it, and I would do I would trade Josh Jackson for.
That's actually that was the question I was going to ask you guys. Assuming it's part of a 3-team deal, what's the most you're willing to give up to get Lonzo?
Josh Jackson, Dragon Bender.
Okay,
Ryan
things that people
Anderson.
actually want.
We don't even have it anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody wants the dragon.
I mean, our picks, top protected, sure, but Josh Jackson. I mean that as like a somewhat incentive. He's playing a little better now. He still has a lot of potential. Get rid of him. Because even if all they ever are is equal, Ball is a position we need, and Jackson is not really. So I do it. I don't like give up Devin Booker or Ayton. To me, those are like the only two untouchables on our team. Truly, and
I don't even think they are. But the problem is, if you trade them, you're not going to be able to get yourself better. Even if you got a big stockpile for Devin Booker right now, what's on the roster?
I shouldn't say untouchable for Ball. If we had a chance to get Davis,
I would probably have to.
I would also say Mikal Bridges is untouchable for Ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Totally agree.
Not in all trades, but
Ayton for me might be the only untouchable player, and I understand what I'm saying. It's a huge risk, but like,
and a huge blasphemy.
He could be really good, and I think he's untouchable no matter. You're not going to give him for even LeBron, okay?
But Shaun, Luka Doncic.
No,
I know. Just everybody's saying how bad Ayton is comparatively to Doncic. Like, have you watched Ayton this year?
Dude, I'm telling you what. Give it 5 years, and no one. Okay, I will say no one's going to be talking about Doncic anymore, but it's going to seem a lot more a wash.
Yeah,
I really
agree.
believe that.
Yeah, I do too.
The guy doesn't play defense. Yeah, he's a scorer, and we're a scorer-dominated league. He's going to be what makes the headlines. He's flashy, but substance, he's fine. He's good. He's really good. But I'm saying, if you're comparing it to Ayton, it's fine.
I know. It just drives me nuts when I keep hearing that around the league. But anyway, sorry.
I get it. I don't think it's that big of a snub for what it's worth.
Oh, for him on the All-Star team? No.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Everybody's talking about it's a snub.
No. Gobert should have been on before him 8 times a week.
Yeah.
Chris, what are you willing to give up?
A top 7 protected this year pick. I would give up an unprotected 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do both with no players?
No, only one. Besides, you need salary match anyways. So
yeah. See, I'm feeling that T.J. Warren I think is the most expendable because I think Josh Jackson still has so much potential, and Mikal Bridges, like you said, is pretty much untouchable in this trade. He's just got so much of what we need. And this, like a top 5 protected pick this year, I think.
T.J. Warren is like all-time bad defender.
Yeah.
I was reading a post about like when he's on the floor with some other combinations of players, we have like the worst defense that you've ever seen. Yeah. I could score on the Suns if I'm playing against Warren.
No, you couldn't.
Yes, I could. Yes, I could, Dave.
No, you couldn't.
Warren sucks that bad.
He's got 7 inches on you.
It doesn't matter. You blow right, but if he's sleeping.
Yeah, if he's sleeping, he might score. There you go.
It's one-on-one. I don't like your chances, but if you can cut on him anywhere off ball, then yeah, you're in good shape.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Dude, I would just do a bunch of running. He's out of shape. I don't know if that's true, but
he's just hurt. So it's a great time to do it. It's like trying to pick on Porzingis right now. I can score on Porzingis. He has one leg.
Yeah. Dave, if I'm trying to post up TJ Warren, okay, maybe I don't like my chances, but
the point is, I think he's the one I'd want to give up the most out of this. Is like, I would try to do TJ and the Bucks pick, they won't take it. So TJ and our top 5 protected pick this year, which is going to be top 5. So
TJ's value, I think, is at an all-time high right now too, because they're like, look, he can shoot threes now. He's so good. It's like, ignore the fact that he's the worst defender you've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a great scorer. He's a fantastic scorer.
I just don't think he gets any better.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's why I'm I've seen so many people who are so unwilling to trade him, saying how important he is. I'm like, yeah, no.
He is the type of player that could be a good 6th man on a contender. And that's only after the 3-point improvement. Before this season, I think there was a legitimate question if he was a top 8 guy on a contender. And to his credit, he worked on his 3-point shooting, and he now is a well-rounded offensive player at scoring. Can't pass, can't defend. So
can't pass, doesn't pass.
He's kind of just like Jamal Crawford from 5 years ago.
Yeah, so a little taller.
Crawford had better handles and was a better passer. And he is a little bigger. So there's some pros and cons, but that's not a starter on a championship team.
No.
I feel like TJ, though, is a higher regarded asset across the league, which I don't know if that's true, but I feel like that's kind of the sentiment I'm getting.
Perfect. Get rid of him. What are the chances that we get Ball, do you think? Because I feel like it's like less than 10%. I'm not optimistic.
I think our chances of getting Ball are roughly equal to the chances of the Lakers getting Davis. Like, I think if it happens, it's going to be a 3-team trade. I don't think they're just going to do the Lakers-Pelicans swap and that's it.
Interesting.
I think if the Lakers trade for Anthony Davis, I think we'll get Ball out of it. But
I don't think they're getting Anthony Davis.
So
yet,
great.
At least.
We're just standing on the altar, waiting for our point guard. Oh, wait, we got our point guard, right?
Oh, yeah, Tyler Johnson.
I saw a great picture today.
Tyler Eulis.
If you guys remember The Office, remember Dwight's brother that worked on Schrute Farms?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mose, whatever he's called.
Yeah,
Tyler Johnson looks like him. So we traded for Mose. Great.
Yeah, I went to a son's invitation thing, and there was a hobo on the street, and he screamed at me for giving him like food because he wanted money, and he reminded me of Tyler Johnson.
I thought you were gonna say, and his name was Tyler Johnson.
I like Tyler Johnson as a player, but he's not a point guard.
No.
At all. He's not what we need. He has a player option next year for $19 million, which he will absolutely pick up because who's going to pay him $19 million next year? So we essentially traded Ryan Anderson, who had his own. We were gonna waive him and stretch him over the next 3 years for sure. We had about $6 million per, and for Tyler Johnson, who we probably are not gonna waive now, and maybe try to. We could.
Wait, and we got Wayne Ellington though. Does he suck?
We're gonna waive him. We're gonna either trade him tomorrow or waive him.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I saw that before I got on. Wayne Ellington was included. I was like, I remember that name.
Yeah, he specifically actually had a no trade clause in his trade. So he said that he would only waive that no trade clause if the Suns promised basically to waive him or trade him.
So now that he's traded, we just don't waive him because he's stuck.
Yeah.
This is the way. We don't need to build player relationships. We're already rock bottom.
Let's make the league hate us more.
Yeah, so we play Wayne Ellington 40 minutes a night.
Try injure him.
I like it.
So I'm hoping we're able to find somebody to just at least get a second round pick out of him. It's like, okay, salvage something, maybe have another asset to throw in somewhere to make it look better. I
want to bring up one more topic.
Okay.
What if we actually got Zion Williamson? Just tell me. What does that mean for our team?
We still need a point guard, but this guy's extremely athletic and very raw. So I don't know that it improves our team next year.
That's my. Yeah, I'm not saying like, oh my god, championship. I'm legitimately like, what does that do though?
I think it helps.
It brings a lot of more notoriety to our team because he is one of the most hyped freshmen since Trae Young. Yes, I know that was last year, but still.
What does it mean for us in 5 years? Champion.
As I say, until I know what the hell our point guard situation is, I don't even know if I can comment on that.
If we could find anything resembling a ball distributor, somebody who could pass and just run an offense, then I would really love our chance if we had Booker, Zion Williamson, Mikal Bridges, and JJ, kind of being interchangeable. And Ayton, that looks like a good lineup to start, but we seem to have so many good pieces that nobody works well together to actually produce a win.
Yeah, so like we might as well just go down the hypothetical rabbit hole.
Yeah, sure.
If we got the number 1 pick and took Zion and we signed Ricky Rubio, that's a playoff team.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
But if we go into camp next year and our point guard is
Tyler
DeAndre
Johnson?
Melton,
yeah,
then
right.
I don't even think I can commit to that being a playoff team.
And I feel like our team, they mesh all right at times. The problem is it's really hard to judge what product is on the floor because there is no That's a huge hole for a team. And I think as fans, and I'm included, we're so bad. I hate our team. We're so bad. We suck. Let's sell it. Let's kill ourselves. And it's like we're missing a huge component, and I don't think we can overlook that.
Which is high. It's why it's hard to evaluate Igor too.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's a point guard centric system. We've had no point guard. Forget the fact that we had 3 and then traded them all eventually. That's obviously we've been down that road. It's been well chronicled. Just think about the fact that of the 50 best point guards in the NBA, we have 0.
I mean, imagine if D'Antoni had Starbury for his system. Well, he has Harden now, and they're doing okay. But,
They're doing just fine.
Harden's a better passer than Marbury ever would be, though.
and a better
Yeah.
scorer and a better everything.
Beard,
But
a bit much better beard.
Better flopper.
Yeah.
better flopper.
Although I do want to take us back real quick to last year when we had Brandon Knight and we made that trade to get Ryan Anderson, and how we were all like, wow, Brandon Knight was going to be our point guard. Now we've got nothing. Well, the Rockets just gave up on Brandon Knight and Marquise Chris today.
And had to give up a protected first to get rid of them.
to get rid of them.
Let's be honest, nobody won that trade.
No, not at all.
Everyone lost. We got it Melton out of it, so we have kind of like a free lottery ticket to see if he's anything.
Yeah.
He was okay in flashes. He might be a good backup point guard. We'll see.
It really made me laugh that the Rockets traded both Marquise Chris and Brandon Knight together again.
So where are they now?
They went to... Why am I blanking on this? Chris, help me.
This is the
It was part of a 3-team deal. That's why I'm blanking. It was either Cleveland or Sacramento.
Cleveland. It was Cleveland.
I think it was
that
Cleveland.
This is the
Yeah,
bromance that like no one has ever cared about. Brandon Knight and Marquise Chris.
Marquise
going
Chris and
from
Brandon Knight are
school
like,
together.
we're still buddies. We're still together,
Have they ever
guys.
spoken a word to each other? That's what I'm
This
curious
is a
about.
solid question.
Oh,
Here, you want to laugh? I'll help you laugh.
okay.
All right.
Marquise Chris has played 104 minutes this season.
Yeah.
He's shooting 32% from the field. He made one of his 15 threes.
You know what? If his attitude was better, he might even still be on the team. His attitude sucks. And he sucked. And you can't suck at both.
Yeah, it's true. You could have a bad attitude, but it'd be really, really good, and you could make that work. But yeah.
Look at DeMarcus Cousins. Horrible attitude, very talented guy.
I don't know how that draft went so poorly when we all thought we won that draft so much, that 2016 draft.
I didn't love that draft, and that's not revisionist history.
I didn't either.
No, I thought it was decent. But I didn't love it.
Yeah, I thought we took a shot at it. It's one of those like, well, we couldn't get anything better, and maybe we should just get Boban.
Marquise Chris, the next Amare, Dragon Bender, the next Dirk. We were set.
Yeah,
And it's
Didn't
amazing.
quite work out that way.
We've sort of touched on this before, but like we went from too many point guards and drafted a bunch of power forwards to now we have no point guards. And with dealing Ryan Anderson, we have officially have like no power forwards on the roster. Not that he was playing, he was benched. But
TJ Warren's a great power forward, though, right, guys?
God, yeah, that's how you're gonna win by getting out rebounded by 25 every night.
Yeah. So I guess, our last Suns podcast, we had so much hope and so much happiness because we had a 3-game winning streak going on. It feels like ages ago.
Yeah, and again, it sucks because I, just as much as anybody, want to be like our team, sell them, bomb the stadium, whatever. And it's like we've had so many injuries too. Like tonight, I was listening to Al McCoy trying his best to muster some sort of enthusiasm, saying Ayton's playing, but oh my God,
Booker's not playing.
Booker's
Yeah,
not
Booker.
playing. Melton's not playing, and I feel like maybe even one other person. We've had so many injuries.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like we're on the JV team, like playing varsity level, and somebody went through and took a bat to all the JV players too. We have nothing. We're we're calling up the junior high kids.
Hey, we were down by like 15 in the first half. We pulled within 4 of the Jazz as of this moment. So
there's something.
Whatever.
cool.
I mean, that's
no
all right.
Booker, no Warren, no anybody. Dragon Bender playing 10 minutes, 2 fouls, 4 rebounds, no points.
I don't want to jump on the Kelly Oubre train too much.
I want to because this guy, I like him.
I do like him. 1, he's hot. 2,
He's smoking hot.
Sexy. 3, he plays
He's
good
got
defense.
great
And,
hair.
like,
Have you seen that hair?
and he cares. That's what I'm looking for. He's like,
Yeah.
I want us to. He's like trying to carve a defensive identity for our team. And I'm here for it.
I feel like Kelly Oubre could pull off a pretty damn good Killmonger cosplay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that's why when we talk about like what would you give up for Ball, well, I would say Jackson's as far as I would go because Warren's worse than him, and I think both Bridges and Oubre are better, and they're all the same position.
It would be cool if we had 4 good defensive players and Devin Booker next year. That would be.
It'd be nice if Ayton got better defense.
I'm assuming he is. I think he's going to
He
get
is getting
there.
better. I think he is.
I think he is too.
I think he's getting better, and he's learning where to assert himself because. What I would prefer is he's a little soft on defense as he's learning than an Alex Len, and he is like a foul train.
Well, at least Aiton can actually move, unlike Alex Len, who looked like he had cinder blocks.
Yeah, he can
the whole
move.
time.
He can catch.
Yep.
He hasn't had
finish around the rim.
fucking nerve damage to his hands. I don't know what happened.
Good footwork.
Yeah.
We got to see Alex Len when the Hawks came to town like last week, and it's about what you remember.
Nothing has changed at all.
No, he just gets to play more minutes, so his per games go up, but we know the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing there.
Including his per game turnovers.
Alex Len, I hate him. I feel like he tricked us.
He just bamboozled us for 4 years.
He's going to come in with a silky smooth jump shot. It's like, yeah.
Well,
how about no?
If you ever want to consider why we're where we are, there's a lot of reasons, but one of them is that we just absolutely bricked a 4, a 5, and an 8 pick. And you're not going to hit on all those because even those higher draft picks are volatile, but those aren't even rotation players. They're done in 3 years.
Yeah.
All of them.
Now, we went over this, but like, who was the right pick in those years? Because there were some humdingers.
Well, we could have picked Giannis.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't go with Giannis. That was no one knew.
I know.
But
everybody in between Bender and Chris hurts a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Jamal Murray, 1.
Yeah, Jamal Murray's 1. I'll have to pull it back up to remember for sure, but I remember all 3 of them are serviceable players, if not
Buddy
good.
Hield, I thought, was another one.
Oh, yeah, he's
Buddy
good.
Hield went 5.
He's good.
Okay.
I'm pulling it up. I'm getting there.
Here's the issue, though.
Buddy
Would they
Hield went
be
6.
good if they were drafted on the Suns?
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean,
Hield and Murray were in there, and Chris Dunn, who I don't think is very good, but it's a point guard.
Yep.
I mean, you look at that top 10. There's some misses in there. Sabonis is 11. Taurean Prince is 12. Those are both NBA players.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Murray hurts a lot. I don't know if there was a better pick there, but still.
who was the 8 pick when you said we bricked on the 8 pick?
Marquise Chris.
Oh, God.
We also bricked by trading away Bogdan Bogdanovic.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell?
That trade was double.
Man. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So, all we got left to look forward to now is the offseason again. Like, what's our best case scenario this
Best
offseason?
case scenario, we get the 5 pick because God hates us and he's given us too much and we flubbed it. He's like, so I finally give you a gift and this is what you do? Never again.
Never again.
I learned from my mistakes.
I mean, honestly, if we don't get the number 1 pick, I feel like if we can take John Morant, who's this Murray State point guard, we might have finally actually get a point guard. I think a power forward is a little bit easier to find.
Dave, we're going to get the number 5 pick, and whoever we choose is going to die in a plane crash. So.
Damn. I mean.
It doesn't matter.
How the tone has changed since our last podcast about the Suns.
Yeah, I mean. It just feels like at some point our culture's never going to change. But I should have hope because look at Sacramento. Even Sacramento's winning.
Yeah, I remember like last year that Game of Zones thing was making fun of the whole Suns and Kings thing. They are demonstrably and clearly better than we are.
Oh, yeah.
Both now and positioned for the future.
Well, De'Aaron Fox is killing it right now. I mean, he's playing
even
really
the
well.
Nets, which is a huge joke. You know what this goes back to for me? And this is going to be my final thought for the evening.
Okay, Jerry.
We had the super team. We had one of, I would say, the first big 3 potential super teams, and we let Joe Johnson walk.
Big 4 in that case.
And, well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't there yet, but he would have gotten there.
And we let him walk for basically nothing.
For $5 million.
Boris Dia!
We let him walk for over $5 million.
$5 million, yeah.
Not per year, not in a year, per year, like for the total contract for 4 years.
That could have been
so depressing.
That could have been a championship.
Well, think
team.
how stupid that is because we were letting a young, talented player who was in our timeline, which is a word I now despise, but he fit the core of that team perfectly. He was a smidge younger than Marion Stoudemire, but it was a perfect fit. It was a position that we needed, a good, young, talented player. We let him walk over $1.25 million per year.
And that's stunning to think, especially it's weird to think of, especially how the salary cap is nowadays, because we're paying Dragon Bender, or we're paying DeAndre Ayton right now pretty much what we would have been paying Joe Johnson at that time, around-ish. So, I mean, obviously, salary cap is totally different, but...
That's what it all comes back to me.
It's so depressing.
It comes down to, for me, you guys, is Joe Johnson. I think we would have a title. I really do.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, and if we wouldn't have sold away Andre Iguodala, would have been nice not to sell away that draft pick.
I don't want to go 2 because we have so many of those, but like, you keep Joe Johnson and Raja Bell. Like Steve Nash took like a bunch of corpses to the Western Conference Finals. Tim Thomas, hello,
Brian Skinner,
and brought the Western Conference Finals. Had we beaten Dallas, I really think we would not have choked like they did against that Miami team either.
No,
They were all right, but like Dallas was far better than that Miami team. I don't know what happened.
Well, especially with Shaq on that Miami team, I think we would have been able to run Shaq off the building in that year. Yeah.
Yes.
I would go a step further. I would say we haven't done anything right since we signed Steve Nash.
Yeah.
I mean, Devin Booker,
I think
good draft pick.
I think Steve Nash's greatness covered for a multitude of sins. Now, some of those were obviously cheapskate moves that we've been down the rabbit hole a million times. The draft picks we traded away, Luol Deng, Rajon Rondo, blah, 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 et cetera, Iguodala. But, like, everything since then, what other good examples are there? I guess the Grant Hill signing was fine, but that was low impact. There was no risk there.
Shannon Fry signing.
Yeah, and you could
there's
say
little deals that were fine, but what were the big moves?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Everything we've done has been a mistake since 2003.
Although probably the biggest thing I will say though is we did not re-sign Amare.
That's
that
a
was
smart
probably
move,
a good move in
Yeah,
hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, not all the moves have been terrible.
But I mean, you're right. The last big move, Steve Nash, and to be fair, no one. I don't know.
At the
I
time,
don't give.
people didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't know how much credit to give to that one. I don't know that anyone had any idea that it was going to be that profound.
No.
Not about that profound. It was a good move, I think.
Yeah,
But I don't think. But people, I think, had issues with the back end of the contract, not the front. I don't think anybody was like, "Oh, this is a bad move." Now it was, well, Steve Nash's back isn't going to hold up, and it turns out that Joe Prosky and his team were wizards,
Yeah.
and they used sorcery to prop him up till we traded him for 2 first-round picks for the Lakers.
And then he probably fell apart.
Sure did.
So,
I'm confused why Nash would want to. I think it was mutual, but it's like you were going to fall apart once you left our tonic, our panacea of a.
I think he figured that he had a grasp of what they had done to that point that he could maybe work with the Lakers training staff to implement, and I don't think that was a bad notion, but it didn't work.
Yeah. I think that you have sufficiently depressed us by bringing that up, that we haven't made a good move since 2004, because you're
Joe
right.
Johnson. Think about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Joe Johnson thing we knew, but like the last good move we made was signing Steve Nash, because Devin Booker was a good draft pick, don't get me wrong, but also it was kind of a luck draft pick in a way. 12 other teams passed on him.
And at the end of the day, if Devin Booker goes his entire career without making the playoffs, like how good actually was it?
Please don't bring that up, that's a possibility. We have him for at least 5 more years, and if he doesn't make the playoffs here, that's 5 more years of no playoffs. I just want to be an 8 seed.
I know. God, how our expectations have changed.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be an 8 seed. I don't even care.
To actually turn on the playoffs and be like, oh my god, I have a rooting interest.
Yeah.
This
is amazing.
Basketball. Oh. Hey, if we win 4 series, we're champions.
I would just love to watch. If we're the 8th seed, it means we've won about half the games that we've played. That would make it. That would be incentive enough for me to turn on the TV. Hell, even when we lose, then it's probably at least somewhat close.
Uh-huh.
Now it's like, why do I watch? Our JV team is losing by 50.
I don't want to lose my shit over winning 3 games in a row like we did earlier this year.
Yeah, that hurts.
It's just so depressing in so many ways, and the worst part about this year is we all thought this year was going to be kind of like, okay, stepping stone. We're not going to be great, but stepping stone.
Well,
we're going to win 30 games.
Stone. We didn't think we could step any lower down, and we sure did.
It was like that. It was like that MXC game where the sinkers and floaters, where they're all sinkers.
Everything we stepped on.
It's just a matter of time before we stepped on one that was going to go back into the muck, and sure enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a step down. I'm tired of we win a game. We're like, all right, we're putting together the pieces. That was good. A good effort. We're making it. And then that team's website is like, worst loss of the season. It's never been worse for our team than now. The Suns, the bottom feeders. All right, okay.
I heard something today about this game against the Jazz, in which we're currently losing by 14. Remember when we cut it to 4 just 5 minutes ago? Yeah. There was apparently a betting website out there, that the Suns were, if you bet $100 on the Suns to lose, so bet $100 on the Jazz to win, you would bring back $5.13. Mm-hmm. So you would win your 100 back plus $5. Yeah. That's all they pay.
Or on the off chance the Suns win, lose it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the point is, the odds were not in our favor.
So
It was
I watched the Matrix 2 this weekend, Dave, and Neo's fighting the agents, and he's like so much better than them. He's fighting with one hand, and eventually they upgrade, so they do a little better. So he has to use two hands, and I feel like that's every single team is like, we're just gonna fight him with one hand, and sometimes we surprise them a little bit, and they're like, all right, gotta use two hands.
Gotta use my other hand.
And then they just beat the shit out of us because they're that much better.
Fourth quarter run, I guess. We'll try them, but that's it. We're not trying after that, no.
They're all Neo, and we're the agents, and not even the Smith one. We're the side agents who aren't even real actors.
All right. We got to sign Ish Smith back. There's our point guard. We got a Smith.
Still
We
better
give
than
them
anything
sunglasses and a huge forehead.
We are 11-44, soon to be 45.
It's pretty good.
Rocketing toward the worst record in franchise history, a fourth straight season with 25 or fewer wins, and yet we're still fans. What the fuck is wrong with us?
I like that we're still fans. I'll say that because to me, this is what it's all about. Is you got to be with your team through the hard stuff. What kind of fans would we be if we jump ship now? But
this is what it's all about: losing every game we play.
Look, we should have won a championship. We didn't, but like we were at the top, and we just this is what I would call the valley.
So obviously
of the Suns.
this is different because you have a personal stake from the beginning. But like you wouldn't watch 10 seasons of a bad TV show. You wouldn't watch like 3. We keep sticking with this, but we're about to go on to a decade of futility.
I feel like the most apt comparison we can make right now is The Simpsons. Really high, amazing, loved it, fell in love with it when you were young, and now it's just dropped down, but it's still on, and we're like, all right, well, I mean,
it's different for me.
Keep an eye on
TV
it.
show is like whatever. I have a personal investment. I used to wrap my arm in saran wrap for the Suns, and it was uncomfortable, but I did it. And
Explain.
I never did that with Lost. Please don't die, Jack. I never did that.
I don't know why you were wearing saran wrap.
It was a whole thing. We invented it was called Karmasty. I've talked about this before. It was a special magic. If you really willed it. Actually, I should really take credit for, I know we didn't win the championship, but like we did so much better than we would have. Rajah Bell with that 3. That was me. Tim Thomas, same thing. Saran wrap going, sending him every ounce of Karmasty I could, flowing through his body.
Did you saran wrap your arm when you clotheslined Kobe as well?
No, that was all him. I ran out of juice, and he had a moment of rage. I couldn't talk him down.
One we commend him for, though.
We do commend you for that, mostly because we won that series.
I tried.
And this is all we have is old memories because everything else we've been blacking out with selective memory and drinking because, like, I don't want to remember 22-foot Shannon Brown jumpers. I don't want that. But that's all I have from the last decade. I don't want to think about having both Morrises.
Let's go 2019 draft.
This isn't even my least favorite team. I will say that.
No.
It's not my least favorite Suns team that we've had.
No.
This one, the last year's was horrible with, whenever we had the Morai brothers.
The 2016 team, I think, at that point.
Yeah, that one was terrible. I really hated that one. And then even Goran with Luis Scola and that whole team, I've never been more bored in my life with a team. At least there was there's potential with this team. They can improve. Players are going to get better. I feel like every player on that team is at their ceiling. Every single one on the whole roster.
Well, they both have potential and are likable. I don't think there's anybody I hate on this current roster.
Yeah.
No. I like Ayton. I like Oubre. I like Bridges. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I like everybody that's on there for the most part, and I just want them to actually somehow win a basketball game.
Like
that's all I'm asking.
Jackson's a disaster sometimes, but it's never for lack of effort.
Yeah.
He tries and he cares. That's about all I ask for at this point.
It's funny because I actually see like ESPN and other athletic, they try to break down why we're so bad and no one can explain
It's
it.
just a big shoulder shrug.
Yeah,
emoji.
it's we don't get it. It defies all logic, and we don't have a point guard, so I don't think it's as head scratching as they make it seem. But it is kind of head scratching still.
It is kind of head scratching when you look at the pieces we have. I'm like, wait, there's some good things there. But
it should be a 25-win team if Booker was healthy more.
Come on, 25. Even that sucks.
It does.
Don't get me wrong,
You're right.
at this point, but
Yeah. Remember before we did the season preview and we were like, all right, best case scenario. What's the best case scenario for this team?
42 wins, 40 wins was our best case.
Yeah, I think that was me. I'm sure.
No, I was with you. Best case, I'd say we're close to 500.
I mean, best case 82 while we're at it, but let's be realistic.
Even the Warriors couldn't do it. How the hell were we going to?
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Yep.
Suns cast is over.
They're
Thanks
down.
for joining us.
They're down
This
19 as we sign off.
This might be the last one until the draft time frame.
Yeah, because we're not doing one until I know where we're picking.
Yeah. Yeah, at least the draft lottery.
Like, I'm not going to get excited about that pick until it turns into whatever it is, since it can be such a wide spread now.
Wait,
Hey,
no, we can do another Suns cast. There's always stuff to talk about. We didn't even get to James Harden.
We could do a roster breakdown post mortem.
Yeah, we could do that. A post 13-win season.
Finish, 15 and 67.
Yeah.
We can be like, all right.
But
here's
don't
our
worry, guys.
pieces.
We'll
Who
have a
stays?
We'll have Devin
Whoa.
Booker, All-Star game, all that.
We'll have a 14% chance of the number one pick. Thank you. And lottery odds changing.
Yeah, that's bad timing.
Hey, we got it last year when it was still good. I think
Yeah.
the hope at the time was like, well, this will propel us to the point where we won't be in the 5 worst records. Like, maybe we won't be good, but...
And we
No.
talked about like being willing to trade our picks this year because like we don't want to be bottom feeder anyway. So we'll get rid of them. Now we're like, please God, hit number 1.
Yeah. Now I can't
Come
wait
on,
for
Zion,
that. I
save
want
us.
that number 5 pick so we can waste it again.
Yeah.
All right, that's the end of the episode. Keep us on Suicide Watch and in your prayers if you would, please. In between episodes, you can check out our website, objectionnetwork.com. On social media, we're at Team Objection. On Facebook and Twitter, it's youtube.com/objectionnetwork. And you can send emails to the show to objectionnetwork@gmail.com. See you next time, Suns fans.
#SunsCast.